Will we make it through the holiday season? Let's discuss. Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel, where we take you along our scrappily ever after, from Fantasyland to Tatooine and everything in between. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Steven.
And I'm just going to come right out of the gate with a very bold statement. It's a little secret of mine.
Okay.
I dread the holidays.
Why?
Stop. You know this is true.
I was trying to build suspense for the podcast. Sorry.
Oh, okay. There's just, the holidays can be a lot. They can be a whole lot. Like, we live pretty busy lives. Like, you and I live pretty busy lives with our kids and school and our jobs and all of the things.
Like many others do.
Like many others. Like, we are no different from anybody else. But then on top of that, you've got the holidays. And the holidays are now have become about, the making the Christmas cookies and the carols and the decorating and the parties and the pageants and the dinners and all of these extra things that you have to add on top of your already busy schedules.
Yeah.
And there's like a hard deadline too.
Yeah. It's not something you're like, let's push it a little while.
You can't push it. There is a hard deadline that you have to get all of this stuff done for. And maybe we'll get into it later, but I feel like society puts extra pressure on us to perform picture perfect during the holidays.
And no, I would say yes. I would say that there's like this added pressure of, having this pristine, this white Christmas type of thing.
Right.
Having the Christmas lights and doing this and having these events and, the Polar Express and, all these type of things during that Christmas time. And there's pressure. There's like that pressure that even if you don't feel that there's pressure, there's that pressure of like, I'm going to do all these things, hanging up Christmas lights and stuff, do the Clark Griswold thing.
Right. And so one of the biggest, it is a stress, but one of the biggest things that there is to do during the holiday season, and that's what I wanted to talk about on this episode, is giving gifts.
I mean, it is the giving season. I love right now, like the meme that's going around, like it's giving season.
It's giving.
Yeah, it's giving season.
But giving gifts is, the older I get, the harder it feels like it is to give gifts.
You sound so old right now, Sarah.
So old right now. Hey man, I look good for my age. 68, come on. But it's really hard to give gifts nowadays. I don't know if it's because I build up all of this pressure internally to give great gifts, or if it's just generally harder now. And I think it's a little bit of both, because we live in the year of the Barbie movie, 2023. Everything right now is so digital.
Yeah. I mean,
like
even video games, like, or I'm just trying to think of like, young Steven, like, oh, I want this for Christmas. I want this, I want that. And if it was like getting movies, like I remember getting physical movies, wrapped up, in a nice little bow. But now Best Buy doesn't do physical media. They're doing away with it.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like there's not really anywhere to get physical media, and like you probably have to go to Dano's bunker over there to get all the the old DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. But that's the other thing, is like you can't get physical things because they're not making it.
Right. But like you're saying, like movies, video games aren't physical as much anymore, and you almost prefer the digital version.
And yeah, because like the last, like what is it, the PS5, they had one that accepts discs, and then the other one that's just like a hard drive. So it's like they're just kind of giving you options, like, hey, you could do the physical media, or you cannot, just
like you can hang on to that past.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like a car too. Like, we don't have CD players or cassette players in our cars anymore either.
Remember having that big, like,
oh man, the binder. Okay, we're tangenting way too much. But like movies, video games, books. Like we used to do like stocking stuffers and things were books. And now it's like, well, you got a Kindle. Like, what do you want? You want an Amazon gift card? right? And so
Everything leads to a gift card.
everything leads to a gift card. And I think that's going to be like a big part of this conversation is when we were talking, one of my family members was like, hey, what do you want? What do the kids want for Christmas? Easy. Our daughter, she's still young, plays with toys. I rattled off like 6 things I hadn't even like given much thought into. The question comes every year, what do we get your kids? I hadn't put any thought into it. Rattled off 6 things. Easy. And then, well, what about your son? Well, he's older. He plays video games. He is on his iPad. He has grown out of that phase of playing with physical toys as much. And so I was like, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
There's big things that he wants, but you don't put that on a Christmas list for like the broader family. So it's like, what can you get people that are on digital platforms all the time? And that's all of us. It's not just like our like kids or anything like that. We're on our phones like all the time.
Yeah. Well, because I think the part of it is you in a gift in giving that gift, you want a little bit of practicality to it, and you talking about the small, our young one and the games like Toys R Us. It gets me thinking. It just gets me thinking of like different times, because like I remember going into Toys R Us.
Look how old you sound.
And there was like aisles and aisles and aisles of toys. I think they're bringing back Toys R Us.
An entire store.
It was an entire store.
Oh my
but like,
gosh.
I don't think it would be as difficult, especially for like little ones.
Yeah.
Like having just here, go run and make your list and figure out what you want. But I think that's one of those things that there's the efficiencies of being able to purchase things online, but man, being able to just like go and see these toys, see these gifts, there's nothing better than that.
It was so cool because I remember like it would be like the first week of December every year. One of my siblings or my parents would take me to Toys R Us and be like, "What do you want?"
Start looking. You can
start
only
looking.
Look.
Yeah. We're not taking anything home. Start looking. Start writing out your Christmas list. And it was just like, I think that was more exciting because you're just like, oh, the possibilities. Like, what is all the things out here? And you got to physically see, and you could hold the thing, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
And then you had to wait, and you had that anticipation. Nowadays, marketing and sales, like things like that, like trying to figure out building your Christmas list is they send out catalogs, but even that's 2D. It's not a 3D thing you can hold.
Yeah.
It's the
well,
catalog.
and I think there's like, it's hard because like I was saying, that excitement, like when you were you're like, oh man, I have it here. And like, there's that excitement. Like you could have that excitement of like, ooh, there's a new helmet coming out. Let me pre-order it.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for a day, and then that excitement fades. And so it disappears until it gets to the door.
Right.
And you're like, oh, like I remember ordering this a year ago.
But like, I mean, yes, there's commercials, and now like commercials are relegated to like YouTube ads and like Hulu and those types of things. But it's just when you see something in a catalog, and I equate this to like mobile ordering or groceries, sometimes you think you're buying a small bag of apples.
Oh, and you get the Wish version of it.
Or like buying oranges. Like I think I'm buying like a bag of 6 oranges, and it shows up and it's like 20 oranges. I'm like, that was not what I thought I was getting here. And so when you're looking at these catalogs, like you don't get to physically see what it is. So there's just this discrepancy. It's different times.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that I'm that much older and like crotchety and in my ways. It's just the ways of giving, like what we can give as gifts is so limited now just because of the way that we all operate.
We kind of mentioned it. When you're giving a gift, you kind of want to give it, there's some practicality to it. You don't want to have it where just like I'm walking through the store, boom, that's your gift.
Yeah.
Like you try to put thought into what is this person like, what are their interests? What are something they've mentioned that they might need or want, and just they couldn't bring themselves to get it for themselves. And I think that's the hard part. Is like you start thinking, and this other part is like, if you have a larger family, like you have to like, okay, if it was one person, we're going to get 4, then I could put like all my energy in like, okay, let me find the perfect gift. But then you're like, okay, I've got to get this person, this, and that you don't have enough fingers and toes of like, how many people you have to get for and
Right.
put thought into, and then it just becomes like, "Ah, I'm just more stressed out." So like again, at the end, you start like, all right, you're just getting this, you're just getting this.
Right. And that's kind of where we are, is like we have our list that we buy for every year. It just grows, right? Thank God. Like it doesn't get smaller every year, but it grows. And there's a lot of people that we want to give gifts to. But if you're spending, say, an hour, 2 hours trying to find the perfect gift for each person, and you've got a list of 40 people, like, bro, I gotta sleep at some point. Like, I don't have that kind of time. And then too, I mean, part of it is like you give a gift and you're like, are they actually gonna like this? Like, there becomes this thought. So it all, like I said, it all comes back to the gift card. You can give a gift card. To me, it feels lazy. It feels lazy to give a gift card because you're just like, hey, I know you like Target. Here's a Target gift card, right? But once you start trying to put thought into, okay, what would they like? Maybe they already have this. Like you said, going through that whole thought process, it's like, well, maybe actually what they would just like is a gift card so they can go
But-
shop and go browse.
But then the crazy thing is like, imagine if you give somebody a gift card and they give you a gift. There's like, all it is like you switching money.
Right.
And it could have been just a simple like, no, don't give me a gift.
Right.
Let's just hang out.
Let's just hang out. Yeah, it feels too transactional at that point. But yeah, when I give gift cards, I want to be like, just know that I put a lot of thought into. I know it doesn't seem like I did, but I put so much thought into this gift
I
card.
stressed this much.
I stress so much about this gift card. But yeah, it's gift cards are strange. To me, the whole I understand it. I understand that that's like what we've kind of settled on as like the main gift nowadays. Like, remember it used to be gift certificates. They were like handwritten.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Now it's a gift card and you can do it virtually. You can do like physical gift cards, but
make sure you go turn those gift cards in, because like if somewhere that place closes, that money's gone.
gone. It's
So,
all fake money anyway.
yeah.
That's the whole thing. And
Well, I think that's it's not fake money. It's real money.
real money spent.
Yeah.
But like you
you
holding
don't
a
use
piece
it.
of plastic, like
Yeah.
what is that, right? But and that's kind of my gripe too with like, say our son and playing video games. Like you can buy this like digital currency now that you use for DLCs, and Minecraft has it. Roblox, that's the game, has Robux, which is the digital currency. Why did they name it that? Like I will never say either of those names correctly the first time.
Bucks. It's like $1.
I
like
get
a
it.
buck.
And then like Fortnite has V-Bucks. And so you have these digital currencies you buy. And here's where my gripe comes in is like, if even iTunes gift cards or Amazon gift cards, like you load it onto your account and you're like, oh, thanks. It was like a digital gift card. But then when you go to spend that money, it doesn't feel like you're actually like cashing in a gift.
So once it's gone into the piggy bank, like it's the collective.
It's gone in
Yeah.
my head. Like versus like going and maybe saying getting a gift card for a pedicure or something, and you're like, oh, I'm getting a pedicure and somebody else paid for this for me. That's fantastic, right? When it goes into like this digital wallet, if you will, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to make it better.
It's hard. It's hard because again, it's practical. Like that's what the kid wants. Like, you know, they're asking for it. Like you're kind of like, this is what will make you happy.
Right. But then if we do that and we only buy gift cards, what do they have to open? And you're just like, you asked for this.
You get a bunch of receipts. That's what you get.
Oh my gosh.
Receipts with codes.
But yeah, we do like a practical gift. So when we do give gifts, like physical gifts that aren't gift cards, I generally try to do things that like I've used over the last year or however long, that I've kind of trial run and I've tested, and I'm like, okay, this is something that I really like. Like I don't have them on now, but like lately I've been on a press-on nail kick. So if I'm going to give like little gifts, I might give a little like kit of press-ons or nail polish that I like, or travel stuff. Like we travel a lot, and so we've tested a lot of different types of travel essentials.
Yeah.
And most people travel, so it's like, okay, I'd feel cool.
Well, but even if you, and that's the thing too, is like, even if you don't, it's something that you've tested and you kind of like, okay, could be useful if you did travel. Like it's a practical thing that doesn't have to be like, you have to use it every single day.
Right.
But if you decide to travel, here's like something that would help you along that way.
Right. Or even
So,
like,
and I don't know. I think that's where like gifts should be. Like, I know you think that it has to be something that they use every single day. But for me, you know, I kind of take it as like it's something that I could appreciate that I wouldn't have like it was I wanted it, but I didn't necessarily feel that I should buy it type of
Right.
thing. Like it's a spoil.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part for me. Like that's where I would want a gift is like maybe it was just something I wanted for, you know, to try once type of thing. And I was like, I don't like, I might like it. I don't know. And somebody gets it for me and they're like, oh, this is really cool because on a normal basis, I wouldn't have bought it for myself, but I wanted it. And so I think that's where like, yes, it could be practical, but sometimes it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it could just be like you're just spoiling yourself or spoiling the person.
Yeah. I get that. I'm just like, I love a staple. I love practicality. I love like simplicity.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But I'm with you. Like if it's a gift that you're like,
and that's where the
been
gift
eyeing
cards
it.
come in because it's just like it's so practical.
Yeah.
It's you know it makes it and I think that's maybe it's like a crutch where it's like I don't have you know you start thinking and you're like like I don't know it's too much thinking that I've spent all day thinking about it. Let me just buy a gift card.
Yeah, it's true. But like mentioning if you get like a gift card for maybe a pedicure or something like that, like one of the things that we've started doing more so, I feel like over the last few years, is experiences over physical gifts. And sometimes that's in the form of a gift card for an experience. But lately, we've been doing like a family trip around the holidays to one, like just kind of get away from the stress of the holiday season a little bit. But two, like we treat that as a gift for the family.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, it's Disney. It's always Disney. Because it works for us. We have annual passes. We can fly there pretty cheap. Like, and it's not stressful for us.
Well, and I think that's the funny thing is like it's always like your point of certain point of view type of thing because like we're saying oh Disney is not stressful, but during Christmas time it is a stressful time at Disney because that's when everybody goes to like. But if you go with that thought, that mindset of like, hey, it's gonna be busy, but we're just there for the vibes.
Yeah, just lower those expectations all the way down,
and then you can have like a great time because you're like, hey, I'm just gonna go hang out. I'm just gonna go sit on the hub grass, have my my spring rolls. And
it's a Star Cruiser mentality. We're here for the vibes. We're not here for the rides. We're not here for the story, for the interactions. Like we're just here for the vibes. Yeah, it's.
But yeah, you just have to go with that kind of expectation, and you're gonna have a great time. But yeah, I think we started doing that, and one of the other things it just comes to mind is because my birthday is near Christmas, and I always grew up always having that combined, oh, it's too close to Christmas. You're going to get a bigger gift, quote unquote, bigger gift for your birthday and Christmas. And it never was.
Were you always like, was it really a bigger gift?
Bull crap.
What were you actually going to get me if this was the bigger gift?
I was like, give me the two small ones instead. I'd rather have that. Well, but no, it was, this is like, okay, you're going to,
oh gosh,
you're putting me on this, like, rolling me up, you're grind, what is it? You're winding me up. You're winding me up. No, but it always sucked. It always sucked having your birthday. If you have a birthday in December, close to Christmas, you always got that combined. Or for me, I always got that combined, gift, combined party type of thing. Whereas like, you have siblings and relatives, they all had birthday parties throughout the year, and it was always a great time.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Like, as a little kid growing up, you didn't get that. And, it stays with you. But, one of the things that you kind of did was like, to add to your stress is have like a different day, here's my birthday and here's like Christmas. But even that, like we created like its own little tradition of like, of lately doing escape rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Cause that's kind of the thing I like to do, but we kind of make a day of it where we do escape room and, do a lunch or dinner or whatever and just kind of hang out. But I think that's the thing is like,
and we invite family. Like it's like a little birthday party, like an adult birthday party.
Well, but that's the thing is like, it's not a thing of like, oh, let's all get together at one certain time. It's just like, it's a slow burn, like, okay, we wake up, you may be late if we're available or we're able to go to an escape room, go hang, have fun. And we could talk about that afterwards, have a little lunch. And then, hang out for a little bit, maybe go do, again, it's like, it's just like a slow burn. And I think that's like, not the intense party of like, all right, we're gonna meet at this time. We're gonna have to do this. We have to do cake. We have to do blow out
Yeah.
candles and open. Like it's not
We
that.
don't
It's
even
just
like cake.
it's not that. It's more like spread out. And I think that's kind of the mindset of like what we've kind of taken into this the giving season is like, let's slow down. Let's go to Disney. We're not going to be doing ride after ride after ride. We're just like, hey, let's just go and take a little breath from our work life. Come over here, relax, and be happy, and then we could go be recharged going back to
Right.
The Christmas time.
And then we're like, dang it, we took off 3 days on this vacation. Now we have 3 less days to do all this stuff for Christmas. And there's a hard deadline. But yeah, we have one of our kids, their birthday's also around Christmas. And so it's just like, one, that adds to the stress because
Yeah.
we've got 2 birthdays and Christmas to do. But we are prioritizing experiences over anything else. Like and even for like all of our birthdays, it's like, do you want a party? Do you want gifts? Or do you want to take a trip?
Yeah.
And most times, I think almost every time, they're just like, I'd rather take a trip or go do something
Yeah, go do something.
instead. And I think those are the things you remember too. Like, I can't recall everything that I received last year for Christmas, but I know that we went to Disney and we hung out and we had a great time.
But I think that's where, after all this stress, after thinking about this, everything that's going on, because again, it's all added by ourselves, right? We kind of just like, oh, we got to get the gifts. We got to, here's the pressure of doing that. But when you really look back at it, there's one of the things that you talk about is when our kid school asked them like, what was your favorite memory of Christmas? And it wasn't it wasn't this gift. It wasn't that gift. It was putting decorations on the Christmas, or, decorating the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And that's where you get caught up in all these other things, trying to be perfect and do everything. And you have to remember like spending time, like, that quality time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we have to remind ourselves. I have to remind myself constantly, like, hey, just like slow down and like enjoy this moment, because if not, like you're going to be stressing about it later saying, oh, I didn't get to do, I didn't spend quality time.
Right. And that was kind of the tipping point for me, is whenever it was like, my favorite tradition is decorating the Christmas tree. I'm like, that's it. Like, I've been like busting my hump trying to make sure we go see all of the Christmas light exhibits and all of the things, and decorating cookies and watching all the movies and singing all this, and like whatever it is. There's a lot, right? There's just so much extra during the Christmas season. And when I saw that, I was like, why are we doing this? Like, I just had it in my head, and I think just growing up as like a people pleaser and always saying yes to doing all of the things whenever you're asked to do them. It's like, what are the things that are really going to make us happy and like really enjoy this time that we have together? Because that's what the season is about. We joke that it's it's not a joke. It is the giving season, but it's not the giving season in terms of giving gifts. Like, yes, we talked about gifts in this episode, but it's not about physically having to give something to each one of the people in your life. It really should be about giving of your time and your love to those around you, to those closest to you, and to those in need too. Because like, that's another thing we've done over the last few years, is like giving back to the community. Like, I do a turkey drive. We volunteer at the food bank. We give, we donate to like the local women's shelters and those types of things. Like, focus on the people that need the extra attention during the season.
And I think that's where you step back and kind of like put things into perspective. It's like it's real easy to get stressed and in that spiral of like, I need to do this, need to do that. But having, again, we're fortunate because we have each other, that we could kind of like, hey, step back and let's realize that we can help. We're in a position to help to do these things. And I think that's where you have to be able to, especially like during this time, because it is a stressful time, is like, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, talk to a family, talk to, if it's a medical professional type of thing, but
right.
Because it can be stressful and you can get yourself caught up in just kind of the season, but being able to step back and say, hey, like that's not what it's about. It's about like, helping if you can. And if you're not, like, if you need help, seek help.
Right. And I think it's also a
And
reminder.
it's okay to ask for help. I think that's another thing. Is like, yes, you could help, but don't be afraid to ask for help. I think for me, that's where it's the more growing up that I had to do, is just like being able to ask for help.
Yeah. I think none of us ask. It's not easy for any of us to ask for help. So you're not alone in that. Lord knows I hate asking for help. But it's also about reaching out to those that are close to you. And I think that's a good reminder. It's like Thanksgiving really kicks off the true holiday season, right? And Thanksgiving is all about giving thanks. Crazy, right? But it's about showing gratitude and appreciation for the things that you're fortunate to have in life. Maybe the things that you don't have anymore, but you appreciated that you did have them. And it's for the friends and family that are closest to you. And I think nowadays, it's always been your favorite holiday, Thanksgiving. But nowadays I've really come around to it. I'm like, this holiday is pretty dope. Like, we just eat delicious food and watch a parade and like hang out with our family.
There's no pressure. Like, and it feels like even the pressure of like cooking food, that's not even there, because if something gets burned or like it just doesn't end up right, it just becomes a funny story.
Yeah. And I think because that gift giving element isn't there too, it's just like, oh, this is great. Let's just hang out. Let's just watch movies and chill and chat and play games. Like, Thanksgiving's where it's at. I want more Thanksgivings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's been edged out because like Halloween starts super early. And as soon as Halloween's over, it's like Christmas time. It's like, let's
Give space.
Give a little bit of space to be able to have Thanksgiving there.
Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to like drive the Thanksgiving wedge and like
should.
make it bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yeah, like it encroaches more on, the Halloween. We have some food elements to Halloween, and it carries over to Christmas time. But yeah, I don't know. It definitely is a time where we could like breathe more.
Yeah.
Because again, I think the pressure is like Christmas time. Like, I'm excited for Thanksgiving, but I'm already like that impending pressure of like, okay, we got to start getting ready.
Pull the tree out and do all these things. And that's what it is because Thanksgiving is like this overshadowed holiday, there's no expectations around it. There's very few expectations. It's food.
Yeah.
Food. That's it. Whereas Christmas, there are tons of things that you build up. Maybe they're traditions that you've carried on from childhood or from that you wanted to start with your own family.
Yeah.
And Sarah specifically, has had to learn that like, just because you've done it once or twice does not mean that it has to be a tradition that you do every year. If it stresses you out, like, we don't do Christmas cookies every year. We don't even decorate our house every year. Like, there's times where we're just like, you know what? Not the vibes this year. And we just like, don't do it. Yeah. And it's okay. And I think that's one of the big things. Like, yes, Sarah dreads the holidays, but one of the big things that I'm learning to do is to set boundaries and say no and be like, you know what? Why am I doing this? What purpose does it serve? Like, what benefit is it going to provide if we do it? And so that's my big takeaway. I'm like, I'm trying to be much better about it. And I think every year I'm making bigger steps into be like, okay, let's just enjoy the season for what it is and not.
Yeah. No, I think that's like definitely the takeaway of all of this is just like keeping things in perspective. Always that.
Yeah.
And then, being able to set boundaries. Like if it's not bringing you joy and it's stressing you out, like, say no. And that's okay.
So hard to do though. It's so hard to do. And then also gift cards are inevitable.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And that's okay. But I think that's a good place to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you have stresses around the holiday that you want to just get out there, get them off your chest, and then just let them go. Drop them in the comments. Let us know. And
and let us know like how you deal with it. Like if it's just like being able to put it down, great. If it's you do something else, let us know.
Yeah, please. Your girl needs help. Until next time.